Merry meet and welcome to Witchy Wednesday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. Moderating today on YouTube are the lovely Dre and the lovely Honey Paw, and moderating on Twitch is the lovely Deline. Thank you so much, moderators. And thank you everybody for joining us today for Witchy Wednesday. Just as a reminder, we are here every... I just have a total landslide here. We are here every Wednesday doing some sort of witchy woo, and I'm so happy that you're here today. We'll get right with it in just a moment. I just want to remind you also that we are on YouTube needing to get your likes, subscriptions, and hitting the bell button. If you haven't done all that, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button. Their algorithm has really kind of been tweaked lately, and so they are leaning on those three things a lot more than ever. So in order for our channel to get the success that we all wanted to have, we do rely on you participating. So we would appreciate it if you would like our videos, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell if you would do so for us. Also, just as a reminder, we have all kinds of free stuff at Ariel's Corner. In fact, everything is free except for the affiliate store, which is, links to Amazon and Etsy. But all of the stuff that we personally offer is free. So that includes free courses, free booklets, free guided meditations, free lectures. There's all kinds of free stuff. And so you can find out all of that by going to our website at ariels-corner.com, Ariel's Corner with a hyphen.com. And also we have some community outreach that you can participate in the community by going to either our Discord server, our Facebook group, or the forum that's attached to our website. So we would love to have you involved, and we are here for you. Let's see, tomorrow we'll be back with a lecture on some sort of magical theory, whereas today's magical practice. And then Friday we will be here with the Witch's Rosary. We'll do 3 full rounds of the Witch's Rosary. Saturday we have a Psalm spell, and on Sunday a live stream lecture, and that's usually a little bit more inspirational in nature. So please come back for all of that. Also on Tuesday, we have Tarot Tuesday, and the first Tuesday of the month, which is this coming Tuesday, if you show up at 9:45 a.m. Pacific and put your name into the queue, you can get a personal reading with me. So that's another fun thing. That's also free. All right, so I've had a lot of requests for tarot magic, candle magic, and success magic. So I thought we would combine all of that today. And so before we get into the actual spell, I want to just remind you that we do have a booklet on tarot magic, and it's called A Tarot Spell for Speedy Manifestation. And you can find that by going to arielgatoga.com/tarot-spell. So arielgatoga.com/tarot spell. Tarot spell has a little hyphen in it. Tarot-spell. And what you'll get is this booklet. I printed this one out. Oops. And we're not going to go through the whole spell here today. I'm just going to go through part of it. But I wanted to just kind of walk you through this. So it tells you what you're going to need for this spell. What you're going to need is a tarot deck. A Marseille deck is what I use, and I would recommend that. If you don't have a Marseille deck, you might want to purchase one. A printout of all of the talisman sheets, and those are in the back here. These are the talisman sheets that you can print out. A coloring medium, such as colored pencils, pens, paints, crayons, etc. And I didn't bring any of those with me, but you know what those look like. A candle of an appropriate color to your spell, and some sort of a perfume that's appropriate to your spell. Now, if you don't want to use a candle or a perfume, you don't have to. But today we are going to use a candle and a perfume because you specifically asked for both tarot and candle magic. So I'm going to do that. So the first thing you're going to do, your first step, is define your goal. Now I know when I put the poll out, what does everybody want? I got a lot of people saying general success. General doesn't cut it in magic always. It's a good idea to have a clear idea of what success means to you, what kind of success you want. So what do you want? What does success look like? Why do you want it? When do you want it by? What will it do for you? How will it benefit the world? And then you ask yourself, what are the essences of that thing? So the essences of that thing are just the essential qualities that the goal will bring to you, such as freedom, happiness, relief, safety, whatever those feelings are that you're going to get. So once you've listed your answers to all those questions, then you write a statement as to what your actual desire is. Perhaps it's, I desire to be successful in my Etsy business or something like that. And you could even be more specific than that. I want to be successful in my Etsy business, making over $50,000 a year so that I can quit my day job, something like that. And you write that all out. This is an example desire statement. I'm employed at a job doing what I love to do by an employer that pays me what I desire or even more. I have a happy work environment. I work with wonderful people. It is so easy for me to travel to work each day. I'm overjoyed that there is plenty of room for promotion in this job. I love going to work each day, etc. So you're putting it in the present moment and you're just saying what you want, Then we're not going to go through all of the doing of this today, but I want to read through it a little bit for you. The first thing that you're going to do in this spell is you're going to take your tarot deck out and you're going to find the right cards for your spell. And so what you'll do is you'll remove all the court cards from your deck and set them aside because we don't use them in this spell. And then you're going to take the remaining cards and separate them into two piles, trumps in one pile and pips in the other pile. You place these two piles before you face down. You read your desire statement, that same thing that you just wrote, I'm employed at a job, blah, 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 while you're shuffling the trumps pile. You're going to fan the trumps card out, face down, choose a card, and the card that you pull represents the causative principle of your desire. That means what's, the spiritual impetus of this desire. Now, if the card represents some sort of unwanted influence, it indicates that your spell itself needs to be rewritten. So go back to the drawing board, rewrite it, see where you got a problem in there, rewrite it, do it again. So, for example, if you pull the moon card out, it might suggest that your goal or timeline is not within your sphere of influence, or some kind of self-deception is going on there. Or if the tower was pulled, it might indicate that your spell was worded destructively. Maybe you need to add the line that says for the highest good of all or something like that. So those kinds of things. So then you'll reshuffle the deck, and eventually you'll have your statement written in such a way that when you pull out a card, it is a great card, like you'll get the sun or something like that really represents your success. Okay, so you put those aside. You'll put that trump card aside, and then you will, where am I? Okay, then you're gonna take the pip cards, and you're gonna shuffle them while you're reading your desire statement again. Now the pip cards represent the way that this thing is going to be manifesting. So you're going to shuffle your pip cards, and when you get a pip card is the minor arcana, but they're non-illustrated. Trump cards are major arcana, but that's the original name for them. So the minor arcana in the Marseille deck are not illustrated. We call those pips. So you're going to shuffle the pips while you're reading your statement, fan the pips face down, pull a card, and this represents the manifestation of your desire as it stands now if you were to go ahead with your spell. And if this outcome looks like what you want, then you're great. Move on to the next step. If it doesn't represent the desired effect, then you must decide what that card is trying to communicate to you. So if it's representing something negative, like a block, like maybe you had like the Five of Swords and there was some sort of cruelty or some kind of unresolved resentment or something involved with it, you'll recognize that. And then you're going to, if you have a negative pip card, you're going to write a transformation statement. And that's just a statement that's transforming this negative energy into what you do want. So you would say, something like, I call upon infinite spirit to dissolve my tendency towards selfishness in this situation completely. I transform this into a new effect that serves my highest good. Something like that. Or any patterns of abuse or hostility surrounding this issue are now transformed and only truth, safety, and joy remain. Whatever. And then you put it back in the pip deck. You shuffle again while you're repeating your desire statement, and fan out the cards and pull another pip. Eventually you'll get a pip card that represents the way you want it, the way you want things to manifest, and that means that you're done. Okay, so once you've done all that, then you write an incantation, and that's just a real condensed version of your desire statement. Something like, I'm employed doing what I adore. I love my work like never before. If you can make it rhyme like that, that's great. If you can't, don't worry about it. But it's very short. It's not real specific anymore, because it's all of the specifics are sort of distilled into this. I'm employed doing what I adore. I love my work like never before. Then you're going to make your talisman. So what you do is you print out the talisman sheets from the booklet. And I've also if you haven't downloaded this booklet already, if you do download it, you'll also get another email with just the talisman sheets to make it easier for you to print them out. And then what you'll do is you'll choose the colors for your talisman. Once you've finished, and then you'll color it using the colors that you like. And once you finish coloring the talisman with whatever you're using, crayons, pens, whatever, paints, then write that incantation that you've been chanting on the reverse side of the talisman. And if you write it in Theban script, that's even better. If you don't want to use the Theban script, just use regular English. But if you can use the Theban script, which is included in here, that's great. Then what we're going to do is the charging of the talisman today, because I've already made it an example talisman for you to save some time. Okay, so normally what you'll do is you'll place your trump card and your pip card on the table with your talisman below them. Spray or anoint your talisman with the appropriate perfume if you're using it. Light your candle beside or on top of your talisman, and then take some time to project your desire into the talisman. See yourself being, doing, or having what you want. Feel your talisman vibrating with power. Feel your desires being fulfilled, and after a few minutes, you can extinguish your candle. Now, you can repeat this every single day for a number of days until you get a sense of certainty that all is well. Once you get that sense of certainty that all is well and that this is coming, then allow that candle to burn down and out all by itself. Then you just hide your talisman away in your home somewhere, or you could even carry it with you if you feel like it, but it's not necessary to do that. And then once your desire has come to fruition, you just rip it up and throw it away. All right, so here I've included the Theban script in here again. We've got this in several of our courses. I've given you some focus colors for your talismans. I've given you some perfumes that you can use based on the colors that you're working with. And then I've given you some keywords for each of the numbers of the pips and the pip suits, some keywords for each of the pip cards, keywords for each of the trump cards. And then I've given you all these coloring pages. Now, you can, if you don't want to go through this whole spell, which is a very smart idea to go through this whole spell, but if you just want to make the talisman, you can do that. And that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to make the success talisman that everybody's asking for. So here we go. So let me get my altar here. Oh, I don't want to spill the water. Let's not spill the water. There we go. Whew. All right. Let's see. I've got my thurible. My chalice. This is my talisman that I've already painted. I've got some salt. I've got an orange candle. I've got a pen. I've got my wand. I've got my blade and my cord. I've got some frankincense, which I'm going to burn in my thurible. I've got some anointing oil. I don't need this candle. And I've got some perfume. This is orange blossom perfume for success. Okay, so let's get this show on the road. First thing I'm going to do before I do anything is just arrange my altar. So I'm going to pull this back a little bit. I'm going to put my, I wish everything was in the shot better. Let me see if I can get a wider shot. It's a little better. Okay. I think I'll put this right here. I'll put that to the side. I'll put my wand to the side. Here's my blade. Sorry that I wasn't able to get this done ahead of time. Okay, let's get some matches. First thing I want to do is light my thurible. I don't burn incense, just if you're new here, so I use an oil lamp for my thurible. If you burn incense, that's absolutely fine. So what I have here is a candle that's heating some water up in this, and I'm going to burn some frankincense. I like that for success. I like it for a lot of things. So I'm just going to put one drop in here. That's more than enough. Okay, and so then that's going to give me a vapor instead of smoke. All right. Now, before I do anything, I'm going to, what I've done here, I've used orange as my focus color, and then I put a little bit of red in there. I put in a little bit of green and a little bit of blue to give it some accents. So I've colored this Ace of Wands for success, because that's what everybody was asking for, was success. So you can do this for yourself if you want as well. You don't have to choose my colors. These are the colors that I was drawn to for success. So, but again, I would be a little bit more succinct as to what success means rather than just general success. All right, so what I didn't do was write on the back of it yet, so we're going to do that now. So success is mine now is all I put down here, because I wanted to go real generic for everybody. So success is mine now. Okay, so that's the back of my talisman here. And it's okay that it's to the side. Just that you could do it this way if you wanted to, but I just put it to the side. That's fine. Now, what I also did is I had this printed out on regular paper. It was a little flimsy, so I just pasted this onto some cardstock. It probably would have been smarter just to print it onto the cardstock. But if your printer doesn't accept cardstock, that's another alternative if you want something a little sturdier, just because it tends to curl up and stuff like that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just purify the talisman. So I want salt and water and fire and air. That's what this is. So this is if you had it incense burning, you'd have smoke, but I've got vapor. And then I've got salt and water here. So the first thing I want to do is do the salt and water. Salt and water, where you are cast, no spell nor unknown purpose last. Hear my words, attend to me, as I will, so mote it be. And then I just cleanse this talisman. And then I say, fire and air, this charge I lay, no adverse spell nor purpose stay. Hear my words, attend to me, and as I will, so mote it be. And I'm just going to waft that through the vapor. Just in time, because my candle finally burned out. I can move this to the side. No, I can leave that there. That's fine. All right, so now I'm going to take my orange blossom perfume, and I'm going to chant my chant. Now, I normally would have like a rhyming chant, but I just did something real generic for everybody today. So success is mine now is my, is my big incantation. Success is mine now. And I'm going to do 3 whole sprays. And this is very strong, so this is going to smell quite intense here. If you don't want it so intense, just do 1. Or you could use an oil if you prefer. Okay, so now I'm going to actually anoint my candle with just some regular anointing oil. This candle anointing oil that I use is just vegetable oil. This happens to be almond oil, not fragranced almond oil, just plain almond oil. But olive oil, any flat safflower oil, any vegetable oil is fine. And I've added a pinch of salt to the bottom of it. And just be aware that the salt doesn't dissolve. You're always going to have a little bit of grains of salt at the bottom of your bottle there. So I take it from the center of the candle all the way up to the wick, the center of the candle all the way down to the base, and I tell myself my same incantation, success is mine now. Actually, I am going to move this to the side. Because what I like to do, and this is completely up to you, is if you have a cord, I love to wrap the cord around any kind of candle spell I'm doing. Just as a visual that energy is nice and contained. So I've got my basic cord that I teach in a witch's primer that you know for your tools in a witch's primer, and I just put it right around. You can tie it up if you want to as well. And now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to move all of this out of the shot so that we just have the candle spell in front of us. So now, since I've done this so generically, you can, if you decide that you want to, think about what you want for success, what success means to you. And let's just go ahead and take a moment and see yourself and feel yourself being, doing, or having whatever this is that you desire. And then you can go on your own as well, and just like once a day for a little while, just continue that visualization or that feeling of obtaining that desire. And it's good not to be so open-ended, because if you're saying just general success, how will you know? It's good to have a goal. So like I said, for that success with your Etsy store, or that success with whatever you need, so that when it starts to happen, you can say, oh, my spell came true. Then if you had done one of these talismans, then you could rip it up once you feel like your spell has manifest. But if it's just general success, you'll never know when the spell is finished. Now, you could do a talisman like this for, quote, general success and just keep it going. And that's definitely going to, just keep it somewhere, just hide it. And what that'll do is it'll give you some general support and energy of success in all your undertakings. That is true, but it's not quite as powerful as being very focused on a goal. So if you do a spell that's for general success, make sure you also back that up with some spells that are more specific to, real goals that you can say, I've achieved that. Oh yes, I've achieved that. And then you can start to feel more and more success in your magic, because you can check things off your list of things that you've wanted, that you've manifest for yourself. Okay, so you can go through that whole tarot spell. I would download that booklet, and that whole tarot spell is very, very powerful, because it really does speed up your manifestation. But you can also use just the talismans all by themselves without doing that whole process like we just did today, where you just color in this talisman. And I just used pen. I just used some felt pens for this. They're actually brush pens. I just bought them. They're really nice. But you could use any kind of pen, but you could use crayon, especially if you have little tiny. If you're going to use crayon, I would use colored pencil, because that way you can do more of the details. You could use paint, watercolor, acrylic paint. You could use gel pens. Colored gel pens work great for these. Any kind of coloring medium, okay? And just look over those color charts in the back, in the appendix of that booklet, and they'll kind of give you some ideas. If you're not really clear on what colors to use, they'll give you some ideas for the colors that you can use, and even some of the accent colors that you can use. Also, based on your main, what I call your focus color, which is orange in this one, that's the main color of this, is orange. I've given you some suggested perfumes that go along with each color, and for us today that was this orange blossom. So I'm using orange as my color, and based on that color I'm using orange blossom perfume, but my goal is success, right? And so instead of looking up, well, what perfume goes with success, you're going to look up what perfume goes with the color of candle you used. So if you used orange for healing, then you'll still use orange blossom for that. So in this particular system, the scents go with the colors, not with your purpose. And you could, because each color can have multitudes of purposes, and that way each of the scents can also have multiple purposes. And you don't have to go with my suggestions. You can do your own thing your own way, as long as it feels successful to you. That's all that matters. But these pip cards, these non-illustrated pip cards, are the bomb. They are so amazing. Much better, I think, for talismans than the Rider-Waite-Smith type cards, because they kind of just bypass your rational mind and go right into the deep mind and help you to kind of latch on to whatever your goal is, especially based on what you wrote on the back of the talisman. All right, so this is a tarot talisman candle spell for success. So I hope I covered 3 bases, because there was a lot of requests for success spells, candle spells, and tarot spells. And so I tried to combine that one into one spell for you, and I hope I achieved it for you. Thank you so much for being here today. If anybody has any questions, by the way, let me look and see if I have any, and I will definitely answer them. I'm in a mess here. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do after this stream. Oh yeah. Ariel, I wondered what your thoughts are on dreams that show the future, as well as dreaming of being in someone else's body and knowing what they are doing, so to speak. Well, dreams are interesting things. People want to believe that their dreams always mean a certain thing. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. A lot of times our dreams are the way our deep mind has of integrating things for ourselves. And so if you have a dream, it doesn't always necessarily mean what you think it does. But as far as dreaming of the future, it's called dreaming true. And what you can do is ask your deep mind as you go to sleep. And I have a lecture on using sleep for your magic. As you're going to sleep, you can ask your deep mind to show you an answer about the future. But remember, the future is not cast in stone. If you are dreaming true, if you are dreaming about the future, it's just showing you where the trend is, where you're heading, and all things can be changed in the future. No, I don't care what anybody says. There is no such thing as the future that is cast in stone. Nobody can truly predict the future, except for we can oftentimes seem to predict the future based on what the trends happen to be. As far as being in someone else's body and knowing what they are doing, that's not something that I participate in. I don't go into other people's bodies. I don't summon other people's spirits. I don't mess with other people. So if you notice that you're doing that in your dream, first thing I would ask is ask your deep mind to show you if that's a symbol for you, as far as something that you need to know about yourself. Maybe that it's trying to show you something that's not what you think it is. If you really are, messing with people in their dreams and getting into their minds and stuff like that, you might want to ask yourself how you would feel if somebody was doing that to you. You know what I mean? It's kind of a violation. If you were breaking into somebody's house, it wouldn't be good. So breaking into their mind, or breaking into their aura, breaking into their body, it's just as invasive, and it's definitely not something that I personally participate in. Then there's, what is the purpose of the blade? Doesn't anybody know? Have you, it sounds like you have not taken the Witch's Primer course. All the tools are gone over in detail in a Witch's Primer, and that's lesson 2. But I would take, if you're taking a Witch's Primer, I would take it 1 week at a time, 1 lesson at a time, do all the exercises in there so that you can build your power properly. It's a free course. It's a long one. I know it's 18 weeks. It's very intensive, but it really does work. And the reason why I developed that is so that everybody that wanted to study the craft could have a fairly decent education in it. So there's a lot of purposes for the blade, and I go over it really, really clearly in that lesson. So I would listen to lesson 2 of A Witch's Primer, definitely, to get more information about the blade. It's called an athame commonly, and in our particular way of doing things, we relate it to the element of fire. It's used for drawing things. It's used for banishing things. It's used for all kinds of purposes, for casting circles, for charging things. It's an extension of your will, but there's a lot more to it than what I can just go over in a quick answer. So I would definitely listen to my course on all of that, because I did go into great amounts of detail and put a lot of hours into putting that material together for you, just so that you could have it. Okay. Oh, it looks like that's all. Well, thank you for the great questions. These were wonderful. And also, thank you so much to the amazing moderators. Today we had Dre, Honeypaw, and Deline. I so appreciate you, moderators, and I appreciate everybody for joining us. I hope that this was helpful to all of you who've been asking for these kinds of spells, and we'll do more of them. So thank you so much. Until next time, blessed be.